Today I just wanted to share with you a little bit about my story of where I came from, my background, and how I've got to my business to where I am today. Some of you may be thinking, oh, I bet you she's had it all easy and it's all just built a business at a young age and got to where she has. But what I really want to share with you is about kind of my background, my childhood, where I got to get to this point where I am today as a business owner. I went to 8 schools growing up. I moved all over Australia, so I was the new kid a lot of the time. Because of this, I was bullied quite badly. Even in high school, it got really bad to the point where my mum said to me, look, if you can get into TAFE, you can leave school next year. And that was in year 10. Because the bullying got that bad that I was like, I don't know, I couldn't see a point to my life or what my purpose was. But all I knew is I loved children and I wanted to work in childcare. So I was one of the very few people that got in. I got into the course. Only 20 people got selected out of 100. So I knew that this was meant to be, that I was meant to leave and go and do this. So yeah, that was the deal I had with my mum, that if I got into TAFE, I could leave school. So when I got in, I was so happy. And I was able to study a year around working in children's services and got a certificate 3 in childcare. Now, this was a great stepping stone for me to get into the real world and the working world, and I loved studying about children and early childhood. And then at 17, I was actually working full-time in a childcare centre. That was my first full-time job, and I was the floater. So I'd literally work like 10 till 6 and float from room to room covering lunch breaks. And I just loved it. I was like independent, working, and I just loved that I could do what I loved and be with children and work with adults rather than high school kids, to be honest. And then I worked really hard at the age of 19. I actually went overseas and did some volunteer work and worked in an orphanage and taught English at a local church in Japan. So that was a really cool experience. And then when I came back, I got back into childcare. I decided to do my diploma in early childhood so I could be qualified and be a room leader. So I progressed in that. When I was 20, I moved to the UK for my partner's work, my husband's work. And then what we did was I injured my back at work. So I literally was like all trained, all skilled up, had done my diploma. I was thinking I was at the top of my game. At 22, I became a room leader in childcare. And one day at work, it rained so heavy that the roof leaked into the centre. And as I was leaving, I slipped over on wet floor and slipped a disc in my back. And I was basically told by doctors that if I ever wanted to get my back stronger again, I couldn't work with children. Now, this to me was devastating because this is all I'd studied. This is all I knew. Like, I literally just lived and breathed childcare and working with children. So I was trying to find myself at that point. What can I do that uses my skills that's not going to injure my back every day? And at that time, everyone used recruitment agencies in the UK to get work. So I contacted the Nanny Agency I work with and said, would you give me a go as an admin, train me up, see if I'm any good at this? I'd love to get involved. And they took me on 3 days a week. And they said to me at the time, you'll either love it or hate it. You could be the best childcare worker, but just terrible at recruitment, and that you won't know till you try. So I was like, okay, all right, I'll give it a go. So I just thought, can't hurt, I'm gonna try it. And actually, I was quite good at it. I naturally enjoyed working with employers. So they were like the childcare centre managers, and then job seekers who were childcare workers, which is what I used to do. So I could instantly build a rapport and click with each person because I'd worked in that field. And when they talked to me, they knew I knew what I was talking about. So it worked really well. From there, that company then needed someone more senior. So they gave me a really good reference, but said that I needed to obviously move on to another company. So I moved on and worked full-time in childcare recruitment in London for a small agency, which then led me into teaching recruitment because I thought, good interlink. There's a lot more job opportunities in teaching recruitment in London, so I did that. And then when I came back to Australia, I was thinking, what could I do that uses my skills still, but wasn't sure if education recruitment was what I wanted to do. So when I came back, I joined a small UK company that was out in Australia, and they said to me, why don't you try social work recruitment? And I thought, well, actually it's great because it's working with vulnerable children and families. So it's all interlinked to my early childhood passion and desire to work with people and children and in the care industries, basically. So that's where I led into social work recruitment, and for the past 8 years, that's what I've lived and breathed. So I recruit people from all the way to the outback in the central Australia, into WA outback, right through to metro cities like Melbourne and Sydney. I love it. Like, I literally just love placing people, social workers, counsellors, psychologists across the country. After 3 years of coming back to Australia, working for another company, I decided it was time to go out on my own. I loved what I was doing, but I just wasn't enjoying the culture and the company I was working in. So I thought, right, how could I set up a company one day that could do all the things that I love, but make it better, the things that weren't working in other companies that I'd worked in. And my husband, who's very loyal, decided to back me. He said, you know what, you should do this. You should go set up your own business and I'll back you to do it. So I was very fortunate at a young age, at 28, I was able to start my own business, TaylorCare Recruitment. And what a journey it's been. I thought it would be not a walk in the park, but I did think it would be come a lot easier, because naturally when I've tried things throughout my years in my work history, I've always just picked things up so easily that I thought it would be the same with running a business. But it's been quite a journey. I guess I never realized how many hats I'd have to wear all the time, like business owner, manager, and salesperson, recruiter, and entrepreneur. So I'm constantly juggling lots of different hats, which I love, but at the same time it is hard because you're constantly divided. And now I'm also a mum, so I have an almost 3-year-old while I'm running the business, and it's just been such a journey. I've learned through the highs and lows. I've had staffing issues, I've had big clients that came on board, then all of a sudden lose funding. So we work with a lot of non-for-profits and government departments around Australia, so that is all dependent on funding as well, that have given me so many life lessons, taught me so much, and also just made me realize that, if I am driven, hardworking, determined, and always have a growth mindset, I can achieve anything and get through it. I believe that all these years, all these challenges with jobs, with careers, with injuries, have almost set me up for this moment so that I can be who I'm meant to be. And this is what I'm doing. I love what I do. I love that I'm placing people who are helping people in the community. Vulnerable people within child protection, mental health, children and families, in schools. I just love that I'm part of that. I'm a tool in helping all these services run throughout Australia, and I just feel so proud and so passionate that I get to do this every day and get to help others. And I hope I help and inspire others. You might not be the traditional kid who gets A's in school and goes to university and becomes a doctor or something, but if you just have a passion, have a desire, obviously there's a value in going to school and finishing if you can, but if you just don't fit in and can't find where you belong in this world, there is a space for you, and you just have to find what you're passionate about and really look at that and then focus on a career around that. So I definitely recommend this. Going after your dreams, whatever that may look like, just take steps today. It could be researching what course you need to do. It could be talking to some business entrepreneurs that are doing what you're doing. Whatever it looks like, just get connected, start networking, get your LinkedIn profile updated, and start meeting new people, because that's how you build what your dream could look like. And it still continues to grow. So just when I think I've hit one limit or one peak, I'm now going that next step further. And I'm loving putting myself out there with these videos, but then also with talks that I do for my charities that I love, and also dealing with visiting my clients. Yeah, so just really find that thing that you love and just go for it with all you've got.